Welcome to my first crochet vlog. In this video I'm going to be unboxing 3 different packages and testing all of the products out. I'm also going to be crocheting in a cafe and sneakily making a beanie. My first package came in the middle of a storm, so it got very wet. This package was sent to me by a company that makes glow-in-the-dark yarn. They reached out to me on Instagram and offered to send me free yarn of my choice in exchange for a post on Instagram if I liked it. They have lots of different materials on their site for you to choose from, and I decided to go with chenille yarn, and I'm really excited to see if it works. Opening the package, my first thought is that the skeins of yarn are definitely a lot smaller than I expected. It comes with a nice instruction card, which basically says that the glow-in-the-dark effect works best if the yarn has been sitting under a direct light for a couple of hours. Here is a skein of the chenille yarn. And then I also got a skein of green cotton yarn to try out as well. The chenille is fairly soft, but it's definitely the thinnest chenille I've ever worked with. Everything in this package felt really stiff, but I think that might be because I left the package to dry in the conservatory, which is definitely a lot colder than the house. So hopefully all it needs is some warming up. Make sure you watch until the end to see if it glows in the dark. The next package is from Lovecrafts, which was not sent to me for free, unfortunately. It's quite a big order, so I've definitely been excited for this one to arrive. The first 2 skeins that I got are from Paintbox Yarns, and they're a chunky wool and acrylic blend. They feel really soft and I love the colour, so I'm definitely excited to use them. I'm going to be using them to make a beanie for my partner for Christmas, but because he's working from home at the moment, it's going to prove to be quite difficult to do it in secret. So make sure you keep watching to see how I was able to make it without him finding out. The rest of the yarn that I purchased are all for new patterns that I've designed, and they are all bonus DK 100% acrylic. I was really impressed with this yarn because it felt so soft, especially compared to other acrylics that I've tried. This cute shade of green is going to be a background colour for a tapestry scarf design. I also got another 2 in black and another 2 in white. These are also going to be used to make a scarf, and I think that it's fairly obvious what the design could be, so if you have any guesses then let me know in the comments. This was everything in my order and I'm definitely happy with it. I'm very excited for this last package. I was really surprised at the size of the box, and I'm not really sure why, because the product inside is definitely not something that you would expect to be any bigger. This product was also sent to me in exchange for content on Instagram, and the company that sent me this product make electric yarn winders, which is amazing for me as someone who has an absolute mess of a yarn stash. And here I'm just showing you how awful I am at opening things. This is my new yarn winder and I am so excited to try it out. It came with a helpful leaflet which included an instruction video. Setting up the unwinder is really simple, but the instruction video was definitely too fast. These are all the individual pieces in the box, and this is it set up. When using it for the first time, I very quickly realized that I also definitely needed a yarn spinner, which is basically just a stick on a spinning platform, which holds the skein in one place while you pull the yarn. Because I didn't have that, I had to keep moving the yarn myself, which kind of took away from the whole you don't have to do it yourself because it's electric aspect of the winder, but I do love how it's looking. I also really like how fast it can go, and it will definitely save me a lot of time. And I also really appreciate how the machine stops when it realizes there's a tangle or a blockage. The finished yarn cake was very easy to remove, and I really love how it looks. I will definitely be doing this to my entire yarn stash. If you want to see a video about that, let me know. Now I'm going to be using the new yarn that I got to make a beanie for my fiance, and I was definitely excited to make it. Because I never really used chunky yarn. To make the beanie, I just chained the length of a beanie I had already knitted for him because I knew that that was a good length. And then I made a start on the beanie. As someone who almost always makes projects using single crochet, I decided to give myself a break and use half double crochet for the beanie. After a few rows, I decided to make sure it was looking good and still the correct length. And then I decided it was too hard to hide from him while making this in the house, so I headed into town to find a cafe. I wanted to make a stop at my local yarn shop, but very sadly it was closed. I got to the cafe and pulled out my laptop and project. I love to watch movies and shows while I crochet, and I'm currently watching Space Force. I ordered a chai latte to have in, but they gave it to me in a to-go cup, so I think they were trying to get rid of me. It did taste very nice, so I do forgive them. So I just sat and crocheted for around an hour. This was my first time going to a cafe and crocheting by myself, and I definitely recommend it. I'm someone who usually will crochet for hours on end in one spot, so it's definitely nice to have a change of scenery. I actually only got to the cafe around an hour before it closed, and by that time I had finished a whole skein of yarn, so I was definitely worried and didn't think that I could make a whole beanie with one more skein. As I was going home, I saw lots of very cute Christmas lights. This is how far I got with one skein, and as you can see, it's not very far. I hid in the spare room for another hour and I was actually able to finish the second skein. And at this point I was just hoping that it would fit and that I had left enough yarn to sew it together. I managed to do it with a tiny bit of yarn left. It did feel a tiny bit tight on my head, so I really hope that it fits in. All that I had to do now was wrap it and place it under the tree. Now it's time to see if the glow-in-the-dark yarn really works. You might have to turn up your brightness for this one. As you can hopefully see, it is glowing, and I think that if I leave it under a light for longer, it should have a stronger effect. If you do want to see what I'm going to make with this yarn, then make sure you follow me on Instagram at Nocturne Knitting. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you let me know in the comments, and make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching!